Is this the dry open? This is the dry opening.
You mean cold?
Dry. It's very dry.
Is it dry or cold?
It doesn't make any difference.
Make up your mind.
It's like a desert.
Cold and that's Antarctica. If you want cold and dry, Antarctica is the place for you.
Thinking of dry makes me think of deserts. How did Boba get out of the sand rectum? What was that thing called?
I don't know. I will look that.
He was rescued by Maximus Rescuus.
The sand anus. He fell into the sand anus. Did he jetpack his way out? The jetpack was messed up.
No, it was damaged. Because
But I want to know is like, how did they get his armor? Like, why did he abandon his armor? Did the Jawas get it? Did they pry it from the sand sphincter? Did they kill it and then get it? And then why did he not go after it? That's a big plot hole to me. A big dry plot hole. The sand rectum.
Speaking of holes, what's a plot hole?
That's what that was, George Lucas. I gotta get rid of this character. Threw him down the plot hole.
Welcome to the Board Game Snobs podcast. Critically harsh reviews with a touch of class.
Go.
Doing the Jets hands. Get to what to do with my hands. Welcome to the Board Game Snobs
Podcast.
The only podcast that you need
for something.
We don't. When I point to you, you're supposed to say something interesting, not just words.
Well, that's a bad idea.
Okay, I'm not pointing at you. You can stop talking. And Gabi.
Tons of diamonds are on the planets Jupiter and Saturn.
What?
I'm sorry, huh?
Tons?
Tons, like more than tons.
Tongues,
like it just rains diamonds on those planets.
Making it rain, huh? We know this. This was on a previous podcast.
I know. That was something interesting.
That's the best you got.
No.
This is a Board Game Snob. Send us an email. boardgamesnobs@gmail.com. Something.
You know what? This is interesting.
Tell me.
A jockey won a horse race while dead.
He fell dead on the horse?
In 1923, Donkey Frank Hayes took off on his horse, Sweet Kiss, at Belmont Racetrack on Long Island. Mid-race, he suffered a heart attack and died.
At least he wasn't kicking a dead horse.
No, the horse was alive. He won.
Oh.
But he had a long face after he realized the jockey was dead.
Okay. All right. Your joke was better. If people haven't figured this out, this is when Gabi says something random. I try to quickly think up a joke, and then he retorts. Go ahead, sir.
This is in regards to where I work.
Walmart.
Bananas are the best-selling item at Walmart.
Really?
And I can speak for that because every time I go through a produce ambient, that's the walk I do, and it's like, okay, these people want all veggies. You got to go walk through all the veggies and collect them. It's banana after banana after banana.
They just want bananas?
Like, people just love bananas.
I make banana pancakes.
I guess people make banana everything. Banana smoothies.
Nut bread.
Banana nut bread. Banana pancakes. Banana waffles. Peanut butter and bananas. Elvis.
Enrique, do you like bananas?
Yes.
Thank you for that. Next, please.
Did you know that Mario Lopez is going to play a sexy Colonel Sanders in a Lifetime 15-minute movie?
Yes, I saw that, and I'm looking forward to it.
Really?
Yes, because everybody loves Popeyes.
I was going to say everybody loves chick flicks.
Okay.
What?
Okay.
What is that?
No, I'm good. Chicken flick, I got it. I got you.
Watching him take his shirt off? It's like poultry in motion. Well, I'm just winging it. Okay, what can I say?
Oh, God.
Okay, so what would you call a chicken that attempts to take over the world?
I'm not sure.
Attila the hen. Oh, I'm done.
You're done? Okay, all right. You're done with the chicken jokes. Okay.
I mean, I can look up some more.
No, please don't look up any more. I don't want you to.
You know he's going to come up with some, like, in the middle.
I did find a Reddit thread on Reddit that is
Very good, sir.
As ridiculous as it was, I was piqued with curiosity.
Peaked, huh?
There he goes again.
Are farts visible in cold weather?
Yeah. Well, you say visible. Do you mean
You know how, like when you breathe?
No.
Yes.
Yeah, no.
You'd have to have No, I think
What? What is your science behind this answer?
The amount of air.
Um,
Plus, it's not air; it's gas. There's methane. It's different.
no. Apparently, okay. According to Bob375 on Reddit,
Oh,
he said moisture is what makes your breath visible.
okay.
There's not enough moisture in farts usually.
Because it's a dry. This is like a dry.
It's like
sand
it's like
Sarlacc
the-
sphincter.
It's like the Sarlacc.
It's a Sarlacc.
When it popped out Boba Fett,
I can't wait for Dune. Mobile sphincters. That's what we need in space.
that's what you
Definitely
will.
not.
Joe Rogan probably go out there and try and kill it and make you eat it. AKA, what was that horrendous game show he was on?
Fear factor.
Fear Factor. Let's kill this giant sand anus and make you eat it. I could not do any of that. Like, I was out when they did Pig Rectum.
Big
Done.
rectum.
Pig welcome, Pig Rectum.
Well, I mean, they always did something where you had to jump.
Opening for sand anus.
You had to jump off something or be claustrophobic, but then it was always the food. And that's not really fear. That's gross. Like, fear is not. I'm not afraid of eating a pig rectum. I'm grossed out by it. That's not fear.
No, well, yes. Fear is getting into a cage of spiders,
Something like that.
a glass box of spiders.
Yeah, me not wanting to eat buffalo testicles is common sense. That's not fear.
You know, the Sarlacc pit, like, that's a Sarlacc pit, but is it a monster? We're calling it a pit, but it's not a pit. It's an actual monster.
Well, there was a pit that the monster made and lived in.
What's the name of the monster?
He's a Sarlacc. And
So the Sarlacc is the monster.
it's like a
Yeah.
bear cave. There's a cave with a bear in it. There's a Sarlacc pit. There's a pit with a Sarlacc in it.
So he just creates a big hole.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then that was his pit. And if you fell into said pit,
You would die.
you're out of luck. That's how that
Except
works.
Except if you're Boba Fett.
Whereas apparently Boba Fett got out of it. So that's another thing. I desperately want to know in the Book of Fett how Boba Fett gets out of the Sarlacc pit.
They should make a sitcom out of it called The Orifice.
And just all the people that have fallen into the Sarlacc pit, they're just talking,
They're just down there
just down there
They're just
talking.
at
having
the camera.
nice
Talking about stuff,
conversations
well,
with
Boba
the
Fett.
smirk.
Have like the office level.
Uncomfortable humor.
Uncomfortable humor. How long you been here? Oh, 300 years. Oh, it's taking a long time. Oh, what happened to you? Oh, messed up Jabba. Yeah, that's all that happened is Jabba showed up and kicked everybody down there. That just seems rather elaborate.
I mean, it was, you know, he was on his pirate ship and just had people walk the plank
That was just,
into the Sarlacc pit.
I don't understand it. It's not anyways, can we get off the sand rectum for a moment?
Please.
I wanted to actually go on into like some board games if you don't mind.
Oh,
Sure.
yeah, that is what we're here to
We
talk
played 3 Euro-ish type games here recently, all in a row to allow us to kind of gauge our thoughts. And they're not older games, but they're games that we have played in the past and talked about. And I believe we had, was it Bert Hoovis, who had asked us about Euros are criticized for lack of player interactions. What are some unique ways that games offer player interaction, and what are your favorites? So that's a good question, and I'd like to address that as we go down these 3 particular Euro games. We'll start with one that's not, well, I'll say it's a Euro game. It's not really. It's Raccoon Tycoon. That's more of an economic game, in my opinion. Now, in Raccoon Tycoon, wasn't that designed by Glenn Drover?
Yes.
No,
Glenn Drover.
Isn't Glenn Drover the same guy that made your favorite game?
Empire's Age of Discovery.
Yes. So, Raccoon Tycoon is a bidding game / commodity speculation game. You're playing a card, you're getting commodity, you're producing these commodities, and certain ones go up. When you sell commodities, the price goes down. You're selling those commodities to get money, and you're using that money to buy buildings that give you buffs, and to also bid primarily on these railroad cards.
Set collection.
So the game's very light. It's easy to understand, but it is a difficult bidding game. I did not realize it until we played it just now, that it's actually kind of up there with modern art in a lot of ways. Whereas modern art is just a pure bidding game. Raccoon Tycoon is not as tight with its bidding because there's a king-making aspect in Raccoon Tycoon that Gabi has partook in, and I partook in it in this game just to see if it was legit, and it was, where when you start a bidding war on a railroad card, if you don't win it, then you get to go again. And I continually bid on railroad cards, letting Enrique and Gabi win them, running up the price so I could finally get one for cheap. What ends up happening is that your opponents end up getting 2 or 3 cards, and you end up getting one, and that's set collection.
I mean, we may have to pay a higher price for them and spend a lot of money, but you've given us 2 or 3 just so you can get a cheap one.
Right. And so there's a king-making aspect in Raccoon Tycoon. There is not a king-making aspect in modern art and other bidding games that we've played.
Well, not a deliberate king-making, like you weren't trying to give me.
Well, no, but I don't think king-making has to be deliberate. I think so in Raccoon Tycoon, the only player interaction you really have is you sold this commodity off before I could sell mine, or you bought this building before I could buy it, or you outbid me. So a pure economic game with some interesting aspects to it. I like modern art more because I like games when there's bidding in it. I like bidding to either be the main focus of the game or a slight side journey, kind of like in Power Grid, where there is an auction, but that's not the main focus of the game. Whereas in Raccoon Tycoon, that auction that's what makes it or breaks it for you. But at the same time, you have to juggle the commodity speculation and all these other things. And so Raccoon Tycoon stays as it's a great game. I feel like it's probably one of the better bidding games that came out last year. Was it last year or year before? I think it was last year.
I've lost track of time.
That said, I don't know if I would recommend it for just a straight bidding game. It's slightly... It's a next step game. It's a next step game.
It's got a few more things going on in it than like high society or modern art. The commodity deal kind of reminded me of the Clans of Caledonia thing, where it's kind of a supply and demand.
Which I did not like that in Clans of Caledonia.
No, but I love it in Raccoon Tycoon.
I do.
Like,
you all right there, Enrique?
Yeah, excuse me.
Did you fall asleep?
No.
Or were you trying to call raccoons? Was that a raccoon call?
I don't even know
what noise was
what
that.
Does a raccoon say?
Apparently.
Okay.
Well, you shouldn't make fun of him because he does have loose sphincters.
That's true.
Yes.
And a sphincter is all parts.
And uvulas.
Yes. How can you have a loose uvula?
You want a loose uvula. Loose uvula.
You can say that 3 times fast.
Loose uvula. Loose uvula. Loose uvula.
Oh, God.
Loose uvula.
Ursula. Wait a minute.
Oh, no.
This is a loose uvula.
That's a predator.
That's a predator.
Yeah.
Ooh, that sounded really good in my earphones.
I'm Chris Hansen. Have a seat. Are these your emails?
I was just bringing some pizza and wine coolers.
Oh, boy, this got dark all of a sudden. Can we go back to this? Enrique, see what you did?
Hey, at least I made it interesting.
Tighten up your sphincters and uvulas right now. This is a quality podcast which can be found on the Gateway Network. You also want to know what a gateway is? A sphincter. So go to the gatewaynetwork.com to hear more podcast
Usually it's an
media
exit, but I guess it can be a gateway.
and listen to the Gamecasters.
Suppositories
Ah, yes.
can help you.
They do have Jeff on the
Maybe
show.
that's how Boba Fett got out.
Just
Somebody crammed a big suppository
space
together.
suppository.
A space suppository. Bring in the space suppository. Kind of like anything in Star Wars, they just call it space in front of it, like Batman.
I like how
Bring in the bat spray. Bring in the bat suppository.
I never understood why Batman had to like franchise everything. He had to trademark it all. Like, bring in the bat spray. That's just Raid, Batman. No, it's the bat spray. It's a can of Raid with a bat symbol stuck on it.
That's mine.
Bring in my bat repellent.
Patent pending.
He had that bat belt. It's like, that's just a belt. You bought that at Kohl's. No.
It's a bat belt.
He's got all these spandex.
He's all about branding.
He's all got that jacket. Look at my bat jacket. That says New Face on it. It's my bat jacket. That's what.
Members only.
Oh, but Raccoon Tycoon's good.
Raccoon Tycoon, I really like. What is a hard cut back to Raccoon Tycoon? Hard merge. I really like the components, even though they're wooden. You know, they're not like these glorified components, but they are very nice. And I love that track of moving them up, the production, and then it increases the amount that they're worth. And then when you sell, whatever the amount you sell, it drives it. If I sell 4 pieces of wood, it drives it back down 4 spots. I love that. So then you're gathering your money. We've discussed Raccoon Tycoon in the past in our podcast, but we just replayed it. And I really enjoyed it. It's not my favorite bidding game. It's still modern art and high society, but I really did like it. And
I think
I've lost my thought. Go ahead.
I've gained your thought. I think the interesting decision that comes from Raccoon Tycoon, not just the bidding, but it's that stock speculation. When you play a card, you produce those resources, but then some resources go up in value. So obviously, sometimes you want to get the price of a commodity up high before you sell yours, but you don't want to play a card and drive up certain commodities before it's your turn again. Someone's going to sell those commodities.
Yes.
So there's this weird tension where you're looking at other players and you're looking over at Enrique's stuff and going, okay, he's got this.
He's got a load of coal, and coal is high. I really don't hope he doesn't sell.
Yeah, should I sell my coal now because he's about to sell his? Or I've drove up this commodity so high and I'm about to sell mine, and then all of a sudden Gabi, who has produced some, just decides, I'm going to start selling it. That's the interaction between the players, not just the interaction in the auction, but that interaction of, man, I hope you don't sell that. And so that is an interesting way of the players affecting each other, is that I don't want Enrique to sell out of this one wine, of all the wine, because I'm about to sell it. And so I kind of hold my play and wait until the next turn before I drive it up and see. You know, there's just a lot going on.
But Bert Hoovis did say, besides auction.
Besides auction. So that is the beside auction part in Raccoon Tycoon. It is that stock
Besides
speculation.
outbidding each other.
Yeah, it's that stock speculation.
Okay,
that's
just
the tie-in.
trying to see, are they going to make this move before I do?
Right. And so there's a little bit of tension in Raccoon Tycoon. Now, that second game we played is another classic game. I think it's one of the best games made in this generation is Coal Baron.
Oh God, yes.
Coal Baron, which is a Wolfgram.
Wolfgram.
Boy, that would really suck.
Wolfgram Amadeus.
Wolfgram, a wolf bring you a telegram. What's on my front porch?
That's what Little Riding Hood. A Wolfgram. Hello.
Oh, Wolfgram is Wolf. Who is the other
Blitzer.
guy? Kiesling.
Gang.
Isn't Kiesling and Kramer?
Kiesling and Kramer, yes.
Yeah.
Where are you getting Wolf?
I don't know. Is it Wolf Kramer?
Where is it at?
It's Dick Wolf.
Dick Wolf. Bum bum.
I'm pretty sure it is. It's behind your laptop there. Coal Baron is a game, 2 to 4 players, plays in about an hour, where you are attempting to run your coal company and to run it so efficiently that you're able to...
Wolfgang Kramer and Michael Kiesling.
Thank you, sir. That you're able to get certain types of coal, ship said coal on certain types of transportation. And again, it's very set collection because you want to have your coal mine balanced. You want to have a certain types of coal mines on each side of your player
not
board.
Set collection.
It is set collection.
What sets are you collect?
Yes.
I mean, I guess when it comes to
Yes.
yeah, okay.
Just think for a moment, and I will
right.
explain the 3 different things for which you're set collecting. Not only are you set collecting the 4 different colors of coal mines, which of course add points at the end of the game. You're also set collecting the 4 different types of transportation: the train, the trucks, the horse and buggy, and the coal cart. That set collection also helps score. And then there's the set collection of the actual 4 different types of coal, which again scores for you. And so that interaction in the game between players is completely absent until you realize how much their turn affects you. So in Coal Baron, it is a worker placement game where you're taking one of your 15 workers, which seems like a lot, and placing them out on this main board and doing an action. I can go and bump out your worker, but if you have one there, I have to place 2. I can bump out my own worker. I just have to add another one there. So if there's 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and so forth and so on, that quickly ramps up your use of your workers. And so generally some players end up running out of workers before others, even though they went last. And so being able to effectively use your workers in such a way and blocking other players, anticipating that I see Enrique has got all of his trucks loaded up. I have trucks too. I need to go ahead and ship my trucks now because it's going to cost me 2 workers later if I don't. That interaction affects the players a lot. Plus, you have to even look at the other players' plans. You have to see, is Gabi going after the gold? Is Enrique going after a certain type of transportation? What scoring... in-game scoring are you basically going after, and what way should I what should I do? Should I try to chase after it and tie you up so that you don't get it, or should I completely ignore it? There is a lot of player interaction, albeit it's not necessarily purposeful in Coal Baron.
This is one of the few worker placement games that is player interaction, because not only are you're not blocking spaces, but you're causing me to burn more folks than I want to. And so that, like, it seems like the last round of every game goes faster for some reason. I don't know. Maybe by that time you're in the field, you know what you're doing. You're placing your stuff. It's like you're really on a roll. And then it's like everything I do is like +1, +1, +1. So like on one move, I'm like burning 4 people because you've already been to the space where I needed to access all the stuff in my shaft, go down there, get all that stuff, bring it back up, and it gets, see, to me, even though it's, I don't know if it's not, the last round of the game seems tighter. I don't know why, but it's really good the way it ramps up.
It does.
I like the +1 aspect of, I'm there, you want to go there, it's going to cost you an extra. That can wreck your last 2 or 3 moves if you like calculate them out. You don't know. Like one game, I really needed Enrique to not go somewhere because I didn't have the extra dude necessary to bump him out and then do what I wanted to do. He went there and it ruined my last move. So, but that's part of the, I like that tension though. It's like, oh, is he going to go there? Ah, he went there. I'm screwed.
There is a lot of tension in the game. And I feel like Coal Baron, out of the 3 games that we're talking about right now, Coal Baron is the one that I wholeheartedly suggest that if you're looking for a, it's not as complex as our next game. It's not as simple as Raccoon Tycoon. I think it's more accessible. It's accessible. It's easy to understand what you need to do to win the game. But
Enrique learned it in 5 minutes.
Right. And Enrique gave you a run for your money the second game. Like
He won.
Yeah. No, I won.
No.
Oh, you
he
won.
Yeah.
So
He came in second.
So there is Coal Baron is an awesome game, completely,
Yes.
and I can't recommend it highly enough. The next game that was new to us that we just played was Railroad Revolution by What's Your Game. Now, Railroad Revolution is a game that came out a few years ago, got a lot of praise, and then it got a lot of flack. The reason I purchased this game is that a friend of the show, Jason Dinger, seems like he's always playing this game, and I see it on his Facebook page constantly. And so I thought, I need to get this. I don't like railroad games. I never have. But this looks a little bit different enough that maybe it's putting a spin on it. Railroad Revolution got a lot of criticism and an expansion because of it, of the scoring mechanism. There's multiplier tracks on the side, and the expansion kind of does away with that. And a lot of people claim that the expansion for this game is completely and totally necessary. And from what I understand, the expansion's coming out again. They're doing a reprint first of next year. So, 2021 is coming out. So anyways, Railroad Revolution, again, is a worker placement game, but you're placing your workers on your own player board. There's only 4 actions that you can do, which is basically lay a track, lay a station, put in a telegraph office, or basically gain money, sell something of your own. But which type of worker that you put in that spot gives you a bonus. And so all you're trying to do is lay track to certain objectives, build, and when you complete those objectives, obviously they give you victory points. And also at the same time, kind of running up your interest on that multiplier track. Like if you see that you're connecting a lot of cities, then you want to be high on this other track. If you see you're building a lot of telegram stations, then obviously you want to be high on that track. The player interaction in it is just completely and totally absent, I think, for the most part. The only player interaction there is in the game is that each spot on the board has the first player marker. When you go there, if you're the first one there, you get this big bonus. So every little spot on the board that you're looking at, if you're the first one there, you get that bonus. So there is this want to try to hurry up and get over there and utilize that spot before somebody else, because being the first one there is so good, especially in those telegraph offices where you're getting when you're getting all that stocks from it. And so that type of weird player interaction where you're not exactly blocking each other, but it feels like a race, sort of. Like I want to get there first because I want this stuff. And I think the player interaction in Railroad Revolution is much lighter than the other games that we spoke about. But man, what an interesting puzzle that you have.
Oh, yeah. I freaking love, and I don't know why, but I love multiplier tracks. I love it in Scythe. I love it in Concordia with the cards. I love it in this one.
Yeah, and it's a simple mechanism that helps the players kind of gauge, where are you at? What are you doing well in? Well, then you need to be high on this track.
To me, like for someone like me that has a hard time, like when I'm faced with a game like this, and I have a hard time deciding a way to go. But if you have a multiplier track, you can easily pick a way to go and just hardcore go into that. Now, generally, it's a good idea to pick a little bit of all of them. But Enrique's about to fall asleep.
Enrique's very tired. Are you all right?
We boring
Yeah,
you?
like I said, I did kind of stay up.
What did you do last night?
Just play video games.
What video
game
games
were
are
you
you playing?
Cyberpunk, man. Like,
Oh,
Cyberpunk, brah.
what? What?
So is Keanu in it?
Yes. So good.
What does he do that's amazing?
Basically,
Is he the titular Cyberpunk?
okay, so basically, he's not an actual person in the game. He's actually a hologram that's been implanted into your brain, and he is
Johnny Mnemonic.
yeah, and he is unwillingly taking over your body.
Oh. So he's Spawn. Or Venom.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. So you're trying to figure out a way to just
Or locked
get
in
him
by
out.
John Scalzi.
Go ahead. Keep
Sorry.
telling us about Cyberpunk. I'm so enthused. Go ahead.
Enthused.
I am enthused. So what are you cyberpunking?
Basically, the entire main story is just trying to get away to have Johnny,
Mnemonic?
Johnny Silverhand, which is
Silverham?
Silverhand,
Silverhand.
which is Kanyu's
Silverhand.
character.
Goldfinger.
Goldfinger and Silverham.
But basically,
Darn you, bronze wrist. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, it's fine.
I'm just
It's fine.
continuing
Oh, I've
down.
got a
No,
limp
it's
foot.
fine.
We're continuing down appendages. Our knowledge of both appendages and metallurgy are overwhelming you.
But just
Go ahead, cobalt tongue.
no,
Cold shoulder.
just to get down to the
Lithium
gist.
eyes. Sorry, we got to stop. Continue. I am so interested in Cyberpunk. What is this video game about?
Just to get down to the gist of the game.
Get down to it.
It's a good game, but it has a lot of flaws.
Okay.
PS4 didn't come out
So you're playing this on a...
on PlayStation 4.
Okay.
Yeah,
Can I ask you...
Oh,
Can I
that
ask you
is so like 3 months ago.
yeah, no,
how long have you had this game?
You didn't have a spare $600 to use on a PS5?
Man, do I look like I'm about to pay?
We need to start a
1,000
Patreon so that Enrique can get a PS5.
Whatever. We're starting the Patreons for me.
$800 to $5,000 for like a PS5? No, I'll wait.
How long have you had this game? How many days? 4 days? 5 days?
Let's see.
Week?
It came out December 12th?
Okay, so you've had it for this is
for
Christmas.
like a couple of weeks.
This is around Christmas.
And I almost have like 100 hours.
You have
over it.
100 hours.
Almost 100 hours. And I still haven't finished the game.
Wait a minute. You have played this game. So you've had the game for 12 days.
Yes.
12 days now. And what?
What's 12 times 24?
Wait a minute.
He's been awake 288.
What?
Minus 100 divided by 24. 7 days.
So you've just sat around and played this crazy game for 100 hours.
Basically 100 hours because it's
4 days.
It's such a big game.
Oh my God.
With all its open world
4
stuff.
days of your life that you'll never get back.
It'll be fun.
Playing with Johnny Mnemonic Keanu Reeves.
Hey man, if it's Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves.
Conyu or Contiu? That's the
This
question.
is what's wrong.
That's the question.
This is what's wrong with the new generation.
100
Yes,
hours playing.
amazing.
How many books have you read and gained actual knowledge on anything?
Water books?
He knows about Cyberpunk.
Water books?
He knows about Cyberpunk.
So you've read. He's
Water
read
books.
about-
I love water books.
I'm into H2O. Speaking of books, I have been reading one of my childhood books by Lester Del Rey, an author from the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, called Runaway Robot. I read this when I was in elementary school.
Runaway Robot.
By Lester Del Rey. It's
Don't
about a
know
robot named Rex. I don't know if he becomes sentient, but he's on his way to becoming sentient. And his owner / the person he's helping to raise, Paul, a young boy of 16, they're on, I forget what planet they're on now. I don't think it's Mars, but it's probably Mars. His family's like, okay, we're going back to Earth, but we can't take the robot. There's not enough room. So Rex has to go work as a work robot on this farm. But Rex the whole time is like, I'm miserable. I don't want to work here. I want to be with Paul, the boy he helped raise. Mm-hmm. And Paul abandons the ship that's supposed to take him back to Earth. And Paul and Rex have run away together.
Ah.
It's a boy robot love story. I mean, basically.
So it's basically Cyberpunk 2077.
By Cyberpunk. It's 1965.
That's 1965. I love this toaster. Oh.
Wait, what were we talking
Railroad
about?
Revolution. I like it. I think it's just super dry, though. It's drier than a Sarlacc's anus.
That's a good callback. I really loved this game.
Really?
I loved it. And it hurt me that you said the expansion, because I've heard about the stinking telegraph, whatever, that ruins the game. And then there's like a fix for it. But then they said the expansion fixes it by doing away with the multiplication tracks.
There is, I don't know. I need to get the expansion. And
I mean, is it like modular? Like you can do away with this, but not that?
No.
If so, whatever. Like
Well,
I'd be good, but
we'll see. But what's your game? They did say in 2021 this game is going to get a reboot. Get the expansion.
Reboot.
Yeah, the expansion's coming back out. What's your game? You go ahead.
in regards to Bert Hovis's other comment about the comment we've been discussing about player interaction, PAX Premier, I like the interaction of that. And of course, this is, as far as I know, unique to PAX Premier, but I'm sure it's a mechanism that can be utilized somehow of placing a spy out onto cards, and then by cards moving that spy onto other people's cards, and then by other actions being able to get rid of this card they are using to their advantage. That was excellent interaction. Not even to mention the primary interactions of the game, which is basically like battling and stuff like that, politics. But moving that spy around on those cards in PAX Premier, I loved that player interaction because it was, I would guess maybe, oh my God, if I had a brain, what's the game with the nuclear stuff? In the first game, you could like drop bombs on people.
That was going to be Manhattan Project.
Manhattan Project,
which is a
had
great
a spy also.
And I think the Manhattan Project, the original, there's been 3 iterations of it, but Manhattan Project, that was truly one of the better Euro games, which it was a worker placement, it was an engine builder, but that whole thing of this other player is doing well, we need to bomb him. We need to shut him down.
Well,
that was the catch-up mechanic for
That
everybody.
was good too, but I'm thinking of the spies you could place.
Yes, and the spies that you could place and utilize their stuff. There was a lot going on with that game, and it was very fast and loose, and it was long. But yeah, it was a. There are a lot of good Euro games that have a lot of
Fast,
interaction.
loose, and long.
The game that has the most interaction that comes to mind, and I'm looking at it right now, is Barrage. Barrage is
that is the other one. Yes.
But the deal is with Barrage, if you do not interact with the other players, then nothing will happen. Like, it will just completely fall apart. The idea of Barrage is that you are blocking other players. You are stealing their stuff.
I mean, essentially, it is worker placement in the fact that you can build a dam and block them from doing something. But also, there's the player interaction of, okay, you've built a dam, but I can place my turbine or whatever that is thing here and route the water through my turbine via your dam into my stuff. Right. Like, that was really good. That is actually, I had, in my mind, I was thinking PAX Premiere with the Spy and another game that I had at one point. Barrage was it, with those generators or whatever the fuck.
And Barrage is the game by Cranio Creations with Simon Luciani,
You're a long way away from your microphone.
And they have, it's all about water. It's about collecting water, using water to power your engines and have electricity and supplying electricity, which is interesting that we started talking about dry Euros and then we start talking about the wettest Euro. It's very interesting. That was a nice turnaround.
Like that.
I'm done.
Sounds good to me.
We've hit them with too much information.
TMI, bro.
I'm about to crawl out of here.
Sounds good to me. I'm Gabi.
This is Jerry.
This isn't.
Thank you for listening to the Board Game Snobs. Stay classy.